I don't think anybody should trade. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? You're a trader. It's like, no. It's like, no, I don't.
Hey, it's Walter here, and you're at the Think Profit podcast, where we're going to help you develop a rock-solid trading confidence and avoid the potentially endless cycle of system switching. Right, Hugh?
That's right. We're going to help you develop a wealth mindset, develop a trading strategy that fits your core personality, and help you overcome the obstacles that stop over 90% of traders.
All right, Hugh, sounds good. You ready to go?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. So in the last episode, we talked about cognitive biases. So let's talk about negative biases. How does that affect us as traders, and where does that come from?
Negative biases. Well, I think for people, considering what can go wrong is adaptive. Who's going to survive, right? Is the person like the mother who's so concerned about her child that she makes sure that, every little thing, like you grow up in the rainforest in down in South America, the mother's concerned about pythons, getting her baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she, her family, her kids are the ones that survive because the pythons never get her kids, sort of thing, right? Or what do you call Neanderthal guy who's worried about woolly mammoths trampling on his tribe or whatever?
Yeah.
His tribe survives. So I mean, it's adaptive in a way, like anxiety and assuming that the worst is always going to happen. To me, that's kind of like it's an adaptive thing, I guess you could argue. And so that's useful in that sense. In trading, it's a little bit different because you do need that. You need that when you're considering risk, because it's a matter of risk and reward. But at the same time, I think a lot of traders, they don't get into trading thinking about that. Like, I didn't get into trading considering probabilities. I really didn't. I didn't understand that until later. I got into trading thinking about the reward. Like, I didn't think of the risk. Right? Yeah, everyone's Scrooge McDuck, right?
Hey there, I hope you're finding this episode useful. I just wanted to let you know that Walter and I give away something valuable every month that helps traders improve their skills. You can enter to win by simply leaving an iTunes review and leaving a comment on our YouTube videos. At the end of each month, we'll look at the comments and reviews from the month, and we'll pick a winner at random. Each comment and each review counts for one entry during the month that it's submitted. So if you're interested in that, be sure to enter after this podcast is over. All right, back to the episode.
I think you need that balance. I mean, you can go the other way. Like, if you're too concerned about risk, I've seen that too. And those traders, what they end up doing is limiting their possibilities, right? Yeah. I'll tell you a story. Just this week, I was working with a trader, and he was like showing me his strategies. He was like, look, I got this strategy, it's pretty good. I got this other strategy. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think they both work in the same type of market, like a training market or whatever. But then I put them together, and it's freaking unbelievable. I go, yeah, it is unbelievable. That looks really good. And he goes, it doesn't make sense, And so he was trying to tear it down. Like, he's like, I want you to show me why, when I put these two strategies together, which seem to be, they would work in the same market, why would the equity curve get so like exponentially better? I said, yeah, that's weird. I said, let's look and see if they're actually, if these two strategies are actually kind of taking the same trades. Turns out they had a 0.08 correlation. One was zigging while the other one was zagging, and that's exactly why his equity curve went straight up. And that was awesome to see. What's cool about this is he didn't just jump in like straight away and go, oh my God, I have this crazy, like, I put these strategies together and I'm in the money, right? Yeah. What he did was he said, what's wrong here? What am I missing? What did I get wrong? Can you show me something? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, dude, I said, you just got to run the correlations. Like, it's, you know what I mean? It's a question. He's like, okay. And we were looking at the distribution, you're looking at one, trying to put the equity curves together and see if they're actually, and I'm like, no, man, just run the correlation. Let's just see. And then we'll test it on out of sample data, make sure that, blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, that's what he did. And like, he had the right approach, he's a very data-driven dude. That's how he looks at things. And so he was like, where am I going to go wrong here? And I think that's a healthy approach, to have that negative, like, skeptical kind of thing. Here's the question. You probably heard this too. People say, well, how much can I make money? How much can I make trading Forex? Like, what can I? Yeah. What they're asking you to do is they're asking you to take your limits, right? Your limitations, your beliefs, and place it into their head. like that's what they're saying. They're saying, give me the universe that I am going to live in. Like, you tell me what I am going, like, that's like a parent telling the kid, like, you can only have an IQ of 115. After that, I'm cutting you off, like you're on the streets or whatever. Like, that's crazy, right? It's totally crazy. But I understand, because we're taught to like accept authority, and whatever authority tells you, that's the right thing and all that stuff. So, I mean, I get it in a sense, but I think we need a healthy dose of like negative expectations, of feeling like things are going to go wrong or where can it go wrong, especially when we're system constructing, and building that strategy and tweaking the risk and trying to figure out how much, because your biggest drawdown is always in the future, right? All that stuff is important. But if you're too far that way, I've seen that too, where traders are like I've seen guys who've been trading for decades and they go, you know what? I don't think anybody should trade. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? You're a trader. It's like, no. It's like, no, I don't. It's not. You know what I mean? And that they've just
business.
gone. Yeah, they've gone the other way. They've just totally gone the other way.
Yeah.
Is that what you meant by this? I just want to make sure that we're clear.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah,
that's really good. Yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned the limitations, because I've gone to a couple of presentations, obviously a lot over the years. And one guy at a meetup was saying, how much can you make trading? And he was like talking super loud, trying to be really convincing. And people threw out some numbers and he said, no, you can only make 10% a year at the most. And I was like, wow, that's really limiting people. But yeah, that was his world, but and I don't think he was trying to be negative. He was just trying to be realistic within his version of reality, but it wasn't necessarily other people's versions of reality, right? Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, we have Nicola in the forum, and she does way better than that, And like, there's people that are out there that it's crazy to me. Like, yeah, it's so true, man. Like that guy, he didn't mean to. I really believe the guy that you're talking about, he didn't mean to do anything to hurt people or send them the wrong way, But here's the thing. Here's a good test. If you ever see someone and they say, I'm an optimist, don't believe it. And and if they say, like, a self-proclaimed optimist, right? No, you should, like, this is my belief. If somebody is an optimist, it will be super clear. Okay, like, you will know it, right?
You have to see it, right?
They don't have to say it. No, they don't have to say it, because why would? And then the other one is, and there's even way more of these people, I believe, and I think it's adaptive. I think that's why, as people will say, I'm a realist. Don't believe it. They're pessimists. I mean, it's so true. Optimists never say that they're optimists, and pessimists always say that they're realists, right?
That's a good point. I never thought of that.
It's so crazy, yeah. But it's exactly kind of what we're talking about, Like, you want to go in. So it's really, the perfect trader is the trader who goes into the system construction phase going total, I'm a realist, right? Which is, you're a pessimist, and then when you get out of it, you just gung ho optimist, right? And so you especially when you have a low win rate, right? You just gung ho, like, I'm testing a strategy now that has a 38% win rate, and it's tough, right? But you get over it after a while. Like, you learn to take, keep chopping wood, knowing that you'll make it all back when you get the nice big fat winners and stuff like that. But yeah, it's so funny. like that to me is a really good test, just in life. If someone says I'm a realist, or if someone says I'm an optimist, in both cases they're wrong. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess ideally we would like to be in the middle and know when to go either way, right? But that's
like pros and cons. Yeah, like, just like the kind of guy that, the classic guy or girl or woman or whatever, who when you ever make a decision, you draw a line down the middle of the page, pros, cons, right? Like, that would be, you don't have to say I'm a realist. You can just, see people making decisions that way, and like, I always think about my grandfather. Like, I say, what would he do? You know what I mean? Like, that's how I try and step into the mindset of someone that you admire or whatever. And so, so I think you're right. I think the realist would never say I'm a realist, and the realist would be that person who does the whole I don't know who, somebody famous came up with that. I don't know who it was, but you do the pros and cons.
Benjamin Franklin or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's what I wanted to say. Like, someone like Franklin was someone who came up with that, right? And the pros and the cons, whatever. There was a Simpsons episode, right, where Homer was trying to be like, oh no, it was Thomas Edison. Sorry, I'm thinking that Homer Simpson was like, I'm going to be like, Thomas Edison is my hero or whatever. Yeah. So he was going to do everything that he did and invent all these things. It was so funny. I always remember that episode. It's classic. Yeah. So writing down the pros and cons, that's how you know you're a realist, right? Like, you know what I mean? Because it's both sides, right? Yeah. Exactly.
Cool. Well, that's a good discussion. All right. Thanks, Walter.
See you.
Yeah.
All information in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not trading or investment advice.